We do hear that as of now, Shannon, Tamra, and Vicky are getting along. A source told us that the OG of the OC is really hoping that Trace and Mika's continue to get along. So we're going to get into her reasoning for that. But remember, Tamra only has Heather right now. So it doesn't do her any favor. On the girls' trip, she's friends with all the especially with her pod, she's friends with all the housewives of different cities. But now that she's back in the OC, she's pretty alienated. And our girl Vicky, and cocktailers know this, I don't know if we spoke about this on the main pod, but Vicky was so excited to be back. We knew this. Welcome to Cocktails and Gossip, the podcast where we drink cocktails, but you better believe we're going to spill the tea. We chat reality TV, celebrity blinds, and the hottest tea from BravoandCocktails.com. And as always, it's all alleged and just for fun. We do not verify our blinds. I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. Let's get into this week's tea.
What's up, cocktailers? Hello, Amanda.
Hi, B. Hi, cocktailers. We kind of want to start out just addressing that we know that all of us are devastated to hear about the passing of Mary Cosby's son, Robert Jr.
There are no words, truly, for a parent losing a child. It's not natural. A parent should never have to bury their child. It's devastating. And he was just a kid, Amanda. He was 23 years old.
23.
And he seemed, from what we saw, such a sweet, innocent soul. And just all of our love to Mary and her family, Robert Sr. I think just as a community, I know you guys all DM me and everybody said, I just gasped. Oh my God, I'm crying. It's like a gut punch. We all just had this visceral reaction because I think, number one, any young person, we watched him struggle.
Right.
We watched Mary try to help him, and we can all picture somebody we know.
We all see ourselves as parents with, or anybody who cares for a loved one. And I think some people have said,
our
it's
our
people's
cousins,
worst fears, or
yeah.
It is truly just horrifying and awful. And I keep thinking about Mary and how I know that she always seems to put a lot of importance behind staying strong. And I'm just envisioning her in my head and just wrapping love around her, because I think that's what she needs is from everybody, is just send love. And I can't imagine all of the emotions that she and Robert are feeling. And
like they're about to film. So I thought they were. Filming has been halted for the week. This is cocktail tea, a source told us they had a trip this weekend. I was under the impression that filming had began, but then I saw a report on TMZ that it was supposed to pick up this week. I don't know how she navigates this. And shout out to Larry. Larry and I were chatting, and I feel like we all reached out to each other. We were texting, and Larry just said, so either she steps away, he said, or this could be the most powerful season of Housewives, where I feel so many of us already learned from. Our kids are younger, obviously, than Robert Jr., but just this fear, because addiction does not discriminate. We've all been young. We've all been at parties. Not all, but many of us have drank and experiment and all these things. Right. And you worry so much about what your children will try. God forbid they should get hooked on something. And at the reunion, something that everybody DM'd as well was, she said at the reunion, jail's the best place for him. I don't know if she said, because if she didn't want him dead or something, but the implication was get him clean so that he doesn't end up.
Right.
Yeah.
That he can't be in active addiction when he is in a cell, unfortunately. There are no words. We have tried to speak some words. There are really none. And Mary and your family, we are, as a collective group, sending all the love to you.
Yes, of course.
And to the cast, too. This has got to be, can you imagine even being a cast member? And I would be hard pressed not to feel, hey guys, maybe we just shouldn't film for a quarter. Because it's like, how do you film? How do you do any of this when this tragedy has happened?
Right.
So sending you guys love. But let's talk about some happier topics. First of all, so glad that you're back. How was your trip?
I missed you guys last week, but the trip was fantastic. You know, I love Ireland. I went to some towns that we hadn't been to. We all kissed the Blarney Stone, which I had done as a kid, but my first trip there when I was very young. I think I was about 10.
You know what Tracy told us on the pod last week?
Yes, but I'm not getting a disease because, first of all, they have a bacterial spray between each kiss.
Oh, they do? Okay. I was going to say, do you
know I never travel light. So.
Gentle Dam?
Yeah. You know we never travel light. So it was my family and then my mom's best friend and daughter-in-law came. And she texted me to let me know that she has a cold sore. So Tracy may have been right. And everyone wants to know, yes, it was rainy. Yes, it was cold. But it's much milder than what we had in New York. So, like, we did all the raincoats and umbrellas, but it was just great. And then, of course, I came home and the kids had school Monday. So we flew in on Saturday so that we could beat the jet lag or try to. And, of course, Sunday into Monday, we had our biggest blizzard in a decade. I'm sick of snow, but I do love like a big snowstorm. And the kids got a snow day Monday, so
it's exciting.
I'm ready. Now I'm ready for spring. It was exciting. And we haven't had a winter like this. I feel like I kept being jealous of you, but you've had a much milder winter than me.
Yeah. I love a good snowstorm. And I think it is really fun how excited.
All the cooking.
And that you guys actually got an actual snow day because
remote
so many people, they go online now, which takes all the fun out of it.
Well, it was a state of emergency. So it was, it was a real traditional. The kids were out. They made some money. My son and my daughter shoveling. I was very proud of them. They were very entrepreneurial. And so where do we start? So much has been going on. I think we start with OC because they are actively filming and you guys are asking. And yes, we have cocktail party tea that we're going to share.
We do. So a source let us know that we're going to say, quote unquote, the brawl that happened between Tamra and Shannon while they were filming the Roaring 20s road trip. So you guys will remember Tamra and Shannon were supposed to finish out that show and be at
the brawl happened in OC at the Bunko party.
Right. At the Bunko pop. But then they were told they should not come and film at Bluestone Mansion. And so this is the brawl that we're talking about. So what we're hearing is that it's not going to be that much of a storyline on OC. The fight that happened was because Tamra and Giselle were poking at Shannon about how Shannon was a nightmare on Love Hotel. So because Giselle isn't on OC, our source says they don't think it'll be really relevant to the OC season, so we probably won't hear much mention of it.
I mean, that makes sense, and we do hear that as of now, Shannon, Tamra, and Vicki are getting along. A source told us that the OG of the OC is really hoping the Trace and Mikas continue to get along. So we're going to get into her reasoning for that, but remember, Tamra only has Heather right now, so it doesn't do her any favor. On the girls' trip, she's friends with all the especially with her pod, she's friends with all the housewives of different cities, but now that she's back in the OC, she's pretty alienated. So, and our girl Vicki, and cocktailers know this, I don't know if we spoke about this on the main pod, but Vicki was so excited to be back. We knew this. But then, after the BravoCon dust settled, sources tell us she was very hesitant about filming. She was regretting her decision because her boyfriend isn't into it or she's not into him being on camera because they fight a lot. So we found out this week that Michael was headed to film. He's, I think, living in Spain. And then sure enough, he posted on his story. So that tea was all legit. And he was spotted by a cocktailer. So he is filming. It seems to me production was like, all right, well, you know what? If your boyfriend isn't going to be filming, you need somebody to film with. So probably good for his
If you're going to hold an orange, we have to see your home life. That's the difference between being a housewife and being a friend of.
And he's been on the show before. I mean, he acts like he doesn't like the fame, but something tells me that he does to some extent. People are wondering why her daughter has a bunch of kids, lives far away. And from what we've seen, I'm blocked by the daughter whose name is...
Oh, you are?
Oh, Brianna. Oh, yes, because her and the husband, the husband's very controlling. And over the course of having my Instagram and the website, we've certainly posted different things about them.
Right.
And like the fighting with Vicki. And so, yeah, I'm blocked. But so she's not going to be flying into film.
Right.
Vicki doesn't want the boyfriend filming. So you have Vicki in a situation where she's also, quite frankly, nervous. Shannon, if you remember at the reunion, Tamra alluded to Shannon talking smack about Vicki and saying, yeah, and Vicki let you stay with her. And then you were telling me how awful her relationship is with her boyfriend.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Vicki doesn't want Tamra. Yes, Vicki doesn't want Tamra or Shannon bringing that up on camera because then she'll have to address it.
Given that Vicki is an OG housewife, obviously she's going to know better than literally anybody else that this show can wreak havoc on relationships and directly or indirectly even cause the end of relationships. It could be that she's just being protective of her relationship, which I feel seems wise. Just giving a little different point of view. It seems also like it kind of fits to me that Michael would be on since it's the 20th anniversary and we saw him grow up kind of on the show.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. It could be that she has something to hide and doesn't want the world to see the messiness of her relationship.
Yes. A couple of new girls are filming. I don't know which one of them got a contract. But yeah, it's all going to shake out because we have good OC sources. We also got some Miami tea. So, Amanda, I was saying to myself, what is going on? Remember for Road Trip, there was no main. And we didn't really put that much on it because we assumed cameras were going up and maybe there was a time conflict. But that's not the case. I keep hearing they're casting. So somebody reaches out and they say, Miami's 100% canceled. Bravo will likely announce it in April. I posted this in Cocktail. I was like, guys, if you have any intel, please let me know. What I'm hearing, contracts are not out, but they have been casting. They have a go-ahead. Just yesterday, somebody said they have 4 new ladies in mind. I'm hearing Julia, Gertie, and Adriana are out. But it does make me nervous that so much time has passed and there's not an official green light. Because if we remember Martha's Vineyard Summer House version, I believe they had 2 seasons and then they were actively casting and then it just didn't come back.
I forgot about that. You're right.
And I don't think that there'll be an official announcement because I think it would just be a long pause kind of thing. But it seems production got wind of our post because sources did reach out to be like, we are casting. We have great women. They want more viewers. I will not understand. Cocktailers love Miami. When I posted this, you saw the comments, dozens of comments. So people that actually turn it on and tune in love it. Why more people don't tune in? You and I have had this chat. We don't get it.
Yeah, we don't get it. Especially the first couple of seasons coming out of the, I guess, quote unquote, reboot. It's so good. It's so funny. It's got its own flavor. They, I think, have done a good job with adding new cast. Yeah. And I know, like you said, cocktailers all feel the same way because, you know, there's so much going on in the Bravo-verse. But this post got so much discussion in the comment section, in our Discord, on our Zoom, in your DMs. People are really, really upset about the possibility of Miami going away. This last season wasn't quite my favorite, but just here to say, hopefully Bravo, if you guys are listening, don't throw it away. Cocktails are really on one about this. I think you're probably right. And I think we have seen a trend with these shows that where they used to be on pretty much a yearly production schedule, they are pushing it out 14, 16, 18 months in between, which this make us miss you idea I think does work. But if we were to do a draft on for the show, for the cast, here is what I think. So this will feel a little controversial, I'm sure, to a lot of people, but here are my thoughts. I want to hear yours too. So I would say keep Alexia, Stephanie, Kiki. You guys know I love Marisol, but I do think that maybe she could be part of why the toxicity is so high on that cast. And so I'm kind of thinking if we put Marisol on pause, we get Alexia on her own, which I think will be interesting. We can keep Adriana in that case if Marisol's gone, because we can't have both Marisol and Adriana. And then I say pause Larsa, Gertie, bring back Dr. Nicole. So we have Alexia, Stephanie, Kiki, Nicole, maybe, and Adriana. What do you think?
Okay. I hear what you're saying about Marisol. And I do agree that I think she does a lot behind the scenes, but I also she brings, her confessionals, she just brings something for me.
I know.
100%.
I had her too.
I'm okay with pausing Larsa. On a personal level, I really like Gertie. Gertie is somebody I would be friends with in real life. I love Russell. You, me, and our husbands would have the funnest date nights with them.
Yes.
With that said, the cast and her just don't mesh. Unless Dr. Nicole is back, I think a pause for Gertie. Larsa could just go. Lisa could just go. I like Stephanie.
What do you think about splitting up Alexia and Marisol, though?
I know, I get it. I just like them. To me, some things are like a fabric of a show, and they just are to me. And I think Alexia would be much more guarded. I think that Marisol plays a very good role in Alexia. Alexia shares a lot with us, and I think without her, I don't know that she would. I think it would make her more guarded, especially if we also Larsa, and I would say Lisa, but there's been like weirdness with that group because those are the OGs, right? I think we have a faker version of Alexia without a Larsa. I'm going to say without Larsa and Marisol. And Larsa can go for me before Marisol. I would love nothing more than Dr. Nicole. I would take back Dr. Nicole and recast everybody. I love her. I just love her. I love Stephanie. It's not that I love Stephanie. Obviously, I think she's great. I think she's a great housewife. I think she's interesting. I think the Masood of it all is interesting. There's a lot of stuff there that I want to see.
Yeah.
Kiki. Yeah. Kiki's great.
I enjoy Kiki for the humor, for just the beauty. She's gorgeous. She meshes well.
Girls too.
Yes, I agree.
Alexia, Stephanie, Marisol, I know you're going to kill me, Kiki, Adriana, and New Girls.
Okay. I like it. We'll see what happens. I think hopefully
Julia is 100% done.
She can go.
For everybody.
She can go. I don't have anything I get. Larsa, meh, and Lisa, I just think needs a little break.
So somebody gave me a little bit of insight, which is not so much tea as somebody who understands the business and numbers, and I wanted to share it. So what they said was that Miami cast caused a lot of problems. I think they're rough with production. I also don't think that we can forget that Alexia's husband was suing them. Do you
know anything more about the kinds of problems they were making for production?
I can ask.
Just scheduling stuff?
Yeah, I have to ask because I didn't.
Okay.
But they said that the first Miami episode last season had live plus 35-day viewing at 1.6 million. I guess this is a metric they use. Mm-hmm. Summer House and Southern Charm are hitting 2.4. So that gives you an idea, right?
Yeah.
They said that Rhode Island's going to be absolute fire, and it was so cheap to produce. Remember, these women are getting expensive, and if your numbers aren't there, we have The Valley, Ladies of London, Rhode Island, all premiering in April. VPR got a renewal last week. I know you're all shouting right now, either your Alexa or your car or your AirPod. Why did VPR? You know why? Because they're going to give it a second shot, and it's cheap as dirt to make because these kids are making nothing.
Yeah.
A Valley Persian Style, which I am so sad that it's only 9 episodes. It is incredible. You know, some shows you like wait for the next episode. In the morning, you're like, yay, it's on tonight. That's where I'm at with Valley Persian.
It's so good.
They're getting 2.2.
Oh, wow. That's great. I didn't know they're getting such good numbers.
And
I worry about shows like that because, we lost Family Karma and Valley Persian Style is kind of a reboot. Anyway.
People are calling for Family Karma, and I really think if they're going to bring something else back, but that is hard because are all those people still living in that area and all of that. But you always cast around Ben and a couple of them.
Right.
So I was also told that it may have been a situation where the Roni reboot and Miami, neither one hit higher than 1.6. So they may have made a choice between them.
Yeah, that could be.
I don't know. We got this email, though, that I want you to read.
Oh, okay.
It looks like they are putting their energies away from the house like Miami.
Okay, so here's the email. Its subject is 2027 Bravo expansion. 2027 is already being mapped out at Bravo, and the expansion is very real. In motion or actively casting, Next Gen LA, Real Housewives of Seattle, Real Housewives of New Mexico, Real Housewives of Dubai Season 3, which would have Stanbury, Chanel Ayan, Lisa, plus New Girls. Next Gen Dubai.
We've got 3 emails about this Next Gen Dubai at this point.
In the city, Chicago. This is if the other in the city, New York works. A Third Valley spinoff centered on a Korean American community and Ladies of Sydney. Some of these are working titles. Big push internally for global and younger, according to my sources.
So somebody weighed in and said, this isn't to say that all of these shows are definitely happening. They're ideas that are being explored. Certainly we know Next Gen is being expanded, and we've got a couple emails about the Valley, which has already been expanded, right? Because we have Shaz and we have the Valley.
Right.
The Housewives ones, to me, sound like they're more of a pitch.
We've been hearing about Seattle, and we've been hearing about New Mexico, which I still have a really hard time believing.
I do too.
But having some family that lives there, that's a tough one.
I also don't think we're going to get a Housewives Dubai and a Next Gen Dubai. Now, who's to say that Ayan and Stansbury, because I got an email that Stansbury's daughter is being looked at for Next Gen Dubai. Who's to say Ayan's son, because, right, he's a guy in his early 20s.
Yeah. And modeling.
And then we get Stanbury and Ayan via that. So
right.
I could see that. In the city, Chicago, yes, why don't we have a Chicago show? It hasn't made sense to us fans for a long time. Love the idea of a spinoff centered around Korean American community. And there was another.
Yeah, we got another email saying that they're looking at a Valley with I think, Hispanic.
Yes, I love
community as well, which makes sense.
I think that they are seeing what happened with Shaz, and they're also hearing all of us that we were mad about family karma. And I personally really enjoyed these cultural shows where you're learning about the culture, the community that exists in America of these different nationalities. I think
You literally stole the words out of my mouth that I was just going to say. I like it when they slip in and out of English and they're speaking to each other and
you see the food that they eat.
The food and like the family customs. Yes.
And the grandparents come and it's like a generational show. It's cool. You see where they go to church, you see or synagogue or whatever their religion is. It's mosques. Like, it's so cool to me.
Tannins, I never know how to say her name. Her mother who just walks into their house and brings food in a pot, like right off the stove.
And then she's like, do you have the pot I left here yesterday? And he's like, yes, I do.
I love it.
It is so good. At something I was just going to say, and now my brain today is not the best. But yes, I love that. And
yeah, I think the formula can really extend across other cultures. And I would like to see that. I'd like to see, just like I always tell you, I'm so fascinated by your family dynamic and all the Italian customs and things like that. I love seeing all that.
Oh, do you know what I wanted to say to you? Somebody that works with Renee from Mob Wives actually reached out asking if we would want Renee on the pod. And I'm like, hell yeah. So I need to reach back out to them. But
I need some time to go back and watch.
That's why people love Jersey, because it's this East Coast Italian. It's almost like a
microcosm. Hear that they're looking at possibly a reboot of that show as well?
Nothing is greenlit, but yes. And obviously hearing that she's trying to do the podcast rounds leads me to believe that's true.
I love it. Just give me some notice so I can go back and watch, because it's been so long. I need to get some things fresher in my head because it's so fun to watch.
Yes. Let's talk a little Valley Persian Style.
Yes. Let's start with MJ and Tommy, because that's kind of a recurring theme this season.
The most recent episode, I think we're really starting to see why they split. I loved them when they first got together. I thought they were opposites, but had a very fiery, fun, loving relationship. And now we're looking at them years later, and he just seems so unsupportive. I understand you don't love Reza, and I'm not saying he doesn't have good reason to have his feelings.
Right.
But when he showed up to her open house, which is such a big deal, she has her boss Mauricio coming. Everyone's coming there to support her. She's setting up all day. She's hustling around with the homeowner. I mean, yes, the homeowner is her friend, but the homeowner is doing more for her than her husband. He could have been there early. Reza didn't need to come at that time. He could have been there early helping her, but he didn't. And then he comes, he just dumps the stuff on the side outside the house, yells at her. He's acting like a baby. And not to mention, I would like to point out here, he doesn't even work. You don't earn an income. I understand.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he doesn't do, I guess they did say he's trying to start that podcast.
Okay. He's a stay-at-home dad, which is fine. But we're not even talking about the show here. She's showcasing her career on the show, okay?
Right.
So now you're not going to help your wife with her career whilst not having a career?
Right.
That's why you're getting a divorce. He's also yelling. I know that a lot of it's his personality, but he is unable to have a reasonable conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I think, yes, the unsupportiveness is crazy. I think when Mercedes got the call from school that their son hadn't been picked up, I think that is really what was the beginning and the end, because there is no excuse for that. It's almost like Tommy was behaving like a petulant child because literally MJ is working during that time. She was on camera at, yes, she was at a med spa, but on camera at a med spa, which is working, and needed Tommy to step up. And you would think that as a stay-at-home dad, he would be able to pick up more of the drop-off and pick up responsibilities. And I think that's got to be, if Mercedes is like, I can't even rely on him to pick up our child and he's treating her badly, he's behaving terribly. And you mentioned the thing about yelling. I've really been watching with fresh eyes this season and seeing how quickly Tommy gets to the point of just flat out yelling. That's a terrible environment to live in, definitely for her, but also just terrible for their son, because that is not a normal thing. That is not okay for somebody to get to the point of yelling at you on a daily basis.
And marriage is a partnership. So to me, as somebody who has a situation where, as you do, when we started this as our hobby and then it turned into more of a job for us and we have a scheduled time to do the podcast and obviously had to prepare for the podcast, I can't miss a week of shows because then I have nothing to talk about. And my husband is supportive in that, and he completely understands and wants me to succeed and wants me to have happiness in this lane that we're trying to create.
Right.
And so if I didn't have his support and I'm getting yelled at, meantime, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
and
I absolutely know what you're saying.
Now, your only job, Tommy, I don't mean to minimize caring for a child. That's not what I mean.
No.
But your job is to pick up the child because she's working and you can't do that. I don't think she was angry enough. Like, steam would have been coming out of my ears.
I think she is one of those people, though, who gets kind of quiet when she's really mad.
Which is so the opposite.
Or really upset.
Right.
And that's kind of what she did. And then she went and cried and ate a bunch of Hershey kisses, which is probably something I would do too.
And I'd like to point out that I loved Gigi in that moment. Gigi has her ways, and I often say to myself, she's not an easy friend to have. But then you see those moments with her where you remember that she is a good person and she is very supportive, and she was incredibly supportive. And she can't even necessarily relate. And she's like, this is why I'm really happy that I didn't have a child with somebody, because I don't want to have to depend. Gigi would just kill him. Let's face it.
She would.
So Sky is awful. She's
awful.
She's awful, but she makes such great TV. And I personally find her gorgeous. I definitely think she's had a lower facelift. She is so snatched, and she's got to be in her mid-40s. But that's besides the point. She's just so rude. She only sees her side of situations. She has no insight. And we have to remember, right? So this was filmed a long time ago. They filmed this and kind of kept it on hold, which I hope they get cameras up soon. And I hope we get a fresh season and I think we will, because the ratings, I think, are higher than they anticipated. But it makes me wonder if she comes back, because we only have one episode left. I don't see them making amends in this final episode. So I have to imagine she probably hasn't even been socializing with the group. I feel like production is going to want her because everybody needs a villain, and she's a great villain. But if they haven't spoken at all, how do we frame that? Unless we just say, I guess they could just pull her in and be like, we haven't seen Sky, but we're going to try to mend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure she would come back, because let's face it, she'd like the exposure for her jewelry line.
Yeah. She is so bad that I started wondering if this is an act. Because I'm like, how does somebody be so completely lacking in self-awareness and think that they alone are always right and everybody else is always wrong? Not even being able to see how she hurt Shannon about the oil by putting it on her dogs. She refuses to even try to look. I don't subscribe to the kind of that person is terrible, kick them off the show line of thinking. Kind of what you were saying, if nobody will film with her, then that obviously becomes a big problem.
People will
for
film
production.
with her, though. And I'll tell you why. Reza, MJ, and Gigi are OGs and they're pros, and they know what makes a good show. Yeah. And it's better for them to film with her, even if they continue fighting, and keep her as the villain, because then they don't have to fight with each other. And I don't think she's acting. I think she's this terrible in real life. And I think that makes for a very easy storyline for everybody. And I also have seen comments from Gigi, like as people are making memes about the show, and Gigi wrote Team Bam for her husband. And it makes me really wonder where because remember, this was filmed a while ago. Where are her and her husband? Because they were on very bad terms. Now they may just have a marriage where it's that, or could they possibly be separated?
Was it Gigi on, who was it? Maybe it was Reza on Watch What Happens Live who kind of intimated when they said, whose relationship is in trouble on the show? And they said Bombshad and Sky. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me because I mean, it does not look like she does not seem to want to be in that relationship. That's for sure. I think he is feeling he's walking on eggshells and trying to keep her happy at all costs.
Right.
Including his own happiness. I will say, because I had some opinions about Reza Jack at the beginning. He's really grown on me. I found him very cheesy and thought he was playing out the whole fuckboy thing way too much. But now I see him as really sweet.
I do too. And I think that everybody agrees. He's sort of like a Nima.
Yeah.
He's kind of filling that slot. And I find him adorable. I think he's so good looking.
Yeah, I just think he's very endearing.
Yes, I like it.
Okay, so I'm so glad you're back because I've been dying to talk to you about the Tell Me Lies finale.
Oh.
What did you think?
Okay. I just have so many thoughts. It was wild. I feel like a lot of people were mad that Steven got the last word. And I posted this to my stories and I was in the DMs with a lot of you guys. But my take on it is, yes, Steven's the worst. But every one of them has done bad stuff. We have to, and I know we have to frame it that they were in college and who was an angel in college. So Steven's the most diabolical. Evan is not far behind him, asking the professor essentially how to control Bree. Alienating Bree from her mother by offering her mother a drink, and obviously it put a strain on that relationship. And I don't believe the mother was there for the wedding, was she? I didn't see her.
I don't think so.
Right, so he was successful in alienating her. Then we have Bree releasing the video on Lucy to get back at her for sleeping with Evan, which, okay, Lucy's sleeping with Evan. Pippa did a lot of different things. Listen, some people in my DMs were saying she didn't stick up for Lucy with the sexual assault, but Pippa never asked Lucy to take that on.
Right.
Lucy really was the most like self-destructive of the bunch, although obviously in that she hurt a lot of people along the way.
Right.
Then we have Pippa cheated on Wrigley, did a host of other things. Diana, who I actually was like, well, Diana's the only one. Somebody was like, hey, B, remember when she deleted the pictures of Macy on Steven's computer to protect Steven?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wrigley's the best of the bunch, but I mean, he was cheating with Bree. Not that we feel bad for Evan, but I don't think that Wrigley knew the way that Evan was attempting to control Bree behind the scenes. So
definitely not. Yeah.
It's the last season. I understand they tied it up, but this was 2015. Can't they like shoot ahead and tell us what happens after? Do Bree and Evan get divorced? Do Steven and Lucy really end it there?
I think sometimes it's hard for us as TV fans to accept that sometimes good things have to come to an end. For those of you guys who watch Stranger Things, I will tell you, I was transfixed for a couple of days with the big online rumor that there was actually going to be another secret episode released. And same thing after Game of Thrones ended. I think we're also very...
the same thing.
Right.
Did it like abruptly.
Yeah. And I think we're all really quick to criticize when a show goes on too long. And so it's a fine balance. And I thought it was such a good I think it was one of the better series finales because I think it tied up so many loose ends. I think the ending was great. You know, remember that maybe an episode or two before Diana tells Lucy, Steven has to win. And then she says, you know, there's power in realizing that and being at peace with it and kind of quote unquote letting him win so you can be free. And that is exactly what happened in the end. You know, he quote unquote won with that last power move over Lucy. And I really think that that's probably why she started laughing is because I think she knew he was going to do it or do something along those lines. And that she was laughing because he acted predictably, but also that she was free.
But do you think that she planned it that way? She took Diana's advice, or do you think she fell into his trap again and laughed because she's like, of course, this is what would happen?
I think it could be both. I think it could be he's probably going to do this again. And if maybe that's the sign that we can be done.
How did she end up with that bartender again? And what happened to Alex? Here are questions I need answered.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think she left the bartender at I don't know, but Steven's speech was chef's kiss. He killed it, got his digs in with every single last one of them. He quote unquote won versus everybody. And the thing I liked about that is he is a villain. No questions asked. There is no gray. He is a villain. There's no redemption arc. There's no Steven's changed and he's doing better. I loved that he was rotten to the core and that's how it ended. I thought it was so good.
I have to tell you, I did too, because I also feel that's reality. I know we all love to post quotes after a couple glasses of wine about karma. You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Look on Facebook at that bitch in high school and see if her life ended up like shit. But, she's still hot. And yes, she married a rich guy and has a beautiful family and has a perfect life. And her being a bitch, she's not going to get her karma at all, as Steven didn't. And I just think that's reality that we always want in the fairy tale or the show where the bad guy gets fired at the end or the bad guy
tries to be better and he changes.
But that's just not real life. Yes, there are times karma comes and gets people, but more often than not, bad people do bad things and nothing happens to them.
Yeah. I don't know. It was so good. Curious cocktailers to hear what you guys think about that ending and if Lucy did all of this on purpose or if Steven kind of got one more over on her and that she was laughing because she realized it.
And I believe they'll never be done with each other.
Yeah. I don't know. I would like to hope that, because I don't think of Lucy as like really a bad person. I just think of her as ultimately very self-destructive. And yeah. Okay. So let's move on to Summer House. I am absolutely loving this season. So the singles event. So one of the city things that happens not on the weekend, which I love seeing more of that.
They're in the city a lot.
Yes. I love that. So we meet Dara, who is new to the cast. You guys might remember that we had a post in Cocktail Party last year saying that Wes had told a cocktailer that he met at a bar that they were going to cast one of his exes, and that is Dara.
Gorgeous. I just have to say, Wes, talk about swag, because not that he's a bad-looking fella, he's not. But certainly he's not Ben, where you're like, oh my God, you just see him and it's his interesting dress, it's his cool personality, but he gets the most gorgeous girls. I mean, Ciara, this girl Dara.
Didn't you love what he said about how he's like, no, I don't. People ask me why I'm like friends with all of my exes, and he's, why wouldn't I be? They're all hot, fun, like cool as shit. Yes. He's like, why would I hate them? I loved that.
I loved that too. And I also think that we throw around the word fuckboy, but the reality is he's a single guy and he's not promising anybody anything. It's sort of like enter at your own risk. I'm fun. I will be respectful of you. Even like with Ciara, I won't bring a girl around and rub it in your face, even a couple years later. But I'm not really interested in a monogamous thing at this stage of my life. And I think that's fair. As long as you're honest, people can do with that what they want, which is, no, I like you and I'm going to catch feelings and I don't want to be in that situationship, or I'm down for that because I just want to hook up too. I love that this event was for Ben, as if Ben needs help finding a date.
I know. Help our poor Australian friend find love.
Lindsay breezing in there, literally glowing from the inside out, her vibe, her Eddie. When she said, guys, the pressure is off. I have my baby. I don't need a timeline. I can come and go as I want. I have my baby at home. If I feel like dating, I will. If I want to get serious, I will. But I'm under no pressure. You can physically see that on her. Mm-hmm. It's like she unclenched her jaw. She relaxed her shoulders. Homegirl chilling.
I love everything about her. Now, motherhood, I think, really has taken the edges off of her, and her confidence, I think, is what we are finding so attractive. Like, that she is so unapologetic about not needing a man, not wanting to settle.
Also made her more interested in forming real relationships with the girls, which is something that I think that I could never connect with Lindsay. One of the reasons for me, although I always thought she was great TV, Lindsay was never a girl's girl. She was always so interested in men, and that's a huge shift in her. Not that she's not interested in men, but she actually seemingly is investing in her friendships with Ciara and Amanda.
There is a place, though, still being interested in men with not feeling like I need a man.
Right.
That shift in her that I think, because I think that's why I was never a huge fan of hers, is because it really did seem like she would kind of drop whatever based on her relationship or date opportunities or whatever. And now she is not in that. And I think that's what we're both reacting to.
So she was on Watch What Happens Live, where I love how, so Ben has a girlfriend. He posts her all the time. Andy asks Lindsay, he's like, so did you guys hook up that? And Ben's like, no. Basically, no, I haven't hooked up with Lindsay. And Lindsay's like, not that night. She never keeps that PR machine from churning, baby.
Yeah.
She also makes a snide remark about Sally, saying, Sally and Austin. I love how they're denying hooking up in at BravoCon, by the way, Lindsay and Austin. And even Andy was like, you guys didn't hook up. He basically said, you guys were basically hooking up in front of me. But she denied it. She said they just have great chemistry, which we heard they were vibing and they were very cozy, but we don't know that it went beyond that at BravoCon.
Right.
So when he asked her about Sally, she thinks on it and she's like, she's in the news a lot, right? In other words, she just wants attention. It takes one to know one.
She has not lost her shady bone.
No.
I love that.
So there's a rumor going around, and we got an email about it, that there was a guy at the singles event that we saw this week. So Amanda was hanging with West during the blizzard, it made me jealous because I remember when I was younger and didn't have like children at home, even in early years of marriage. And I'm sure you guys have done this, and it snowed and you're like, ooh, let's go to the bar, and you guys have day drinking and the best day.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You get greasy food, and then you go home and you get snowed in together.
Yes.
So Amanda did that with a group of people, West included. So a lot of you guys are DMing me, oh my God, is she with West? Amanda would never be with West. Amanda is never going to do that to Ciara. Whether Ciara gave her the green light, that's never going to happen. But there was a guy there who was dressed similarly. His name is Aiden. He's like a social media influencer, model, whatever, She's commenting on all his TikToks. There's a video going around with her twinkling his fingers, flirty. So yeah, I don't know if there's more to it, but she definitely, after like the fun day at the blizzard, was back at West's house and they were all hanging there, and she's single and she is clearly out there mingling, and love to see it.
She seems just so much happier, and I think it makes us all happy. Sometimes that happens. You see a lot of people who leave a relationship that they weren't happy in, and they transform, and it seems that's sort of what she's doing right now.
And her and Lindsay today, or I guess it was today, are at this...
Oh, the TikTok they made?
Yeah, we're at this branding event for Roller Rabbit, which is this very expensive pajama bathing suit line. And it's cool to see their evolution of their friendship. And there they are, both single, both killing it at these brand deals, making money, getting the glam. They're like, we haven't really done the whole let's go out and meet guys, but we're doing it. Like, it's happening soon. And it's just, first of all, it's going to be great for the spinoff. But the thing is, we see that, but it's also organic. And that's why this group will continue to have success, because it's not forced.
No, and these personalities we're invested. We're invested in these people. And I think we are all really supportive of seeing their next iteration and not keeping them in this, you must go to the Hamptons every weekend and party box.
Right.
You mentioned Ciara earlier. Jesse asks West in that last episode if it's okay if he hooks up with Ciara. These men never seem to learn. Hooking up with somebody in the house never goes well. But then, of course, asking your good friend if you can hook up with his ex, just a bad look, I think, on all fronts. I actually like Jesse when he's in bed gossiping with the girls. I don't want to see him trying to get into their bed figuratively.
I'm going to disagree with you because Jesse gives me the ick. I think Jesse is very upset that he had that sophomore slump and he got roasted at the reunion in regards to Lexi. And I think it's very put on, this whole hopping in the bed, and he's really trying to win over the fan base.
I can see that. I kind of see what you're saying.
I don't think Ciara's into it, but the clip we see from next week, she says to him, because I guess he says to her, like, oh, I asked Wes and I said it would just be a joke if we were drunk. And you see Ciara go, oh, so you want to hook up with me as a joke and get mad at him? But I don't believe like she's into him. But I will say this. First of all, I believe West is right to be mad at Jesse. But I feel West is mad because he doesn't believe that Jesse really has feelings for Ciara and wants to be in a relationship with her. I think if he felt that way, like if he saw Jesse really inward and like really, in other words, he says this, but meantime, he's out there hooking up with everybody and their brother when Ciara's not around. And West would know that. that, right?
Yeah.
I think he's, dude, you think that you're going to like just hook up with her and then have it not work out? I feel West is being protective of Ciara. I think West would be, I'm not saying he wouldn't be sad, but I think if Jesse had Ciara's best interest and wanted to get into a relationship, a serious relationship with her, I think West would give it his blessing because he wants...
West would not get in his way.
Right.
Yeah.
He wants Ciara to be happy. But the fact that West knows that he's just looking to fuck around, he's like, dude, get out of my face. I think Jesse has given West the ick. I think next he's about to give Ciara the ick. Yes.
Yeah,
he's definitely given me the ick.
Well, I think you're right, too, that Jesse says Ciara's hot. He doesn't say, I'm attracted to Ciara as a whole package.
Carl's a perfect example. Carl has a huge crush on Ciara. Obviously, it's not happening. But if Ciara gave him the green light, Carl would date her and would want it. Carl said last season, like, she's a beautiful person on the inside and outside. I love her personality. She's so understanding and all of these things. If Ciara gave Carl the green light, West would absolutely be happy for them. It may hurt him, but he would also be like, well, I'm not ready for that. And Carl's a good guy with good intentions for her.
What about Jesse saying that he's really actively looking to settle down? I mean, I didn't believe it for a minute. I don't think he actually feels that way. I think he, to your point earlier, is trying to play to the cameras and the fans. It feels gross.
It feels gross. It feels very inauthentic. And so when a season comes out, I try to go back to the post that we had during filming. And it just was making me laugh because I got the ick from Jesse. And then I'm reading all the random posts that aren't super important now, but spotted Jesse in Montauk on Monday, like right after the Up with a Blonde. And then the next weekend with a brunette. That's why West had that reaction. And ultimately Ciara, I'm sure, will too. Because if you were so interested in Ciara, you'd be making her the center of your attention, not flirting with her while you're filming, laying in the bed for optics. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely think Jesse would want to hook up, but he doesn't want anything beyond that.
Yeah, agreed.
And then to kind of make it like, oh, West isn't ready for that. At least West is honest.
Yeah. Fully agree.
But I am loving Summer House. It was, I think Amanda was like, okay, we cannot fight every weekend and make everybody miserable. So because that's a hard watch. And Kyle is what he is. I don't think did I discuss the beach scene on here? Because that may have happened when I was away, where he was verbally abusive.
We talked about it last week,
like
when you were gone, like sadly.
I just feel like Kyle is looking for sympathy, but after I knew he was capable of acting how he acted on the apology dune, where there was no apology.
Right.
And seeing it, he will get no sympathy from me.
No.
He is manipulative, he is verbally abusive, and he gets no sympathy from me.
Yeah.
So that's that on that.
Fully agree.
We love you guys.
Thanks, everybody.
What's up, cocktailers? We want to thank you, as always, for listening to Cocktails and Gossip. Because of you, we've hit some amazing milestones, had some hilarious conversations, and have grown a truly amazing community. If you haven't already followed our podcast, hit the follow button in the top right of your Apple Podcast player, the follow button under the show logo on Spotify, or the subscribe button on Google Podcasts. We thrive on you, our audience. So make sure to tell all your gossip-loving friends about us too. And if you want to get all the tea, join our membership cocktail party by going to bravoandcocktails.com/join. Our members get access to the exclusive tea we post, the weekly podcast without ads, plus another additional bonus podcast every week. And of course, members also get to join us on our monthly live cocktail party Zoom, where we talk about the latest tea and even share tea that's just too hot to put in writing. Last, but maybe best, our members get access to the Cocktail Party Discord, where you can chat with Amanda, me, and all of the other cocktailers as well. There are always some great convos and hilarious comments happening in Discord. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you.